Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Diaries of a 20-something. I'm Paige Marquez, your host, and today we are talking all about dating in the post-college world, and this is going to be a fun episode, very exciting. Dating in the post-college world is so different than dating in college and high school and everything else, and it's not like I anticipated it to be the same, but I just really want to share my experiences with you guys. I feel like it's really relevant. Dating is always relevant. Cuffing season is right around the corner, and I think we're all scrambling to find some comfort. At this age, everybody's working, everybody has like real priorities. Priorities become a little bit more serious in the real world, I think. And here are some of the key things that I have noticed. Everyone is busy. It's really hard to like make plans with people, even your friends, but I'm not talking about friends this episode. Everyone like weirdly has money to be doing things and doing activities. It's like, oh, a couple of nice dinner dates is like whatever. Like I remember in college when I was dating casually, of course, dates would be like chill restaurants kind of things. And like now it's like I've been going to like nice restaurants. Also, the way you meet people is really different. I mean, besides like online dating, like obviously that's still really prevalent. The way you meet people is different in the sense where like in college, everything is so structured. College is kind of really favorable for meeting new people, and post-college, it is just not the reality. So this episode's going to be super relatable. I'm going to go in with my own personal experiences that I've had and also just give you guys some insight on what I have learned. So stay tuned. As you guys know, I recently did a very big and very intimidating but very exciting move to a new place. Outside of focusing on work, I've really been focusing on trying to build a social circle. So I'm like never home. I'm always out doing things, whether it's alone or whatever. I'm just always putting myself out there and trying to meet people and trying to make friends. And with that, I have been dating a lot. I have been probably averaging out on around 2 or 3 first dates a week. It's really fun, and I have learned a lot. When you're in college, you're like meeting people all the time in a very structured way. There's like date functions, there's always like events to like make friends, and Greek life, whatever. Like everyone is just obviously trying to make friends in college, but when you move to like a city or a new place or anything in like the post-grad experience, it's very unstructured, and like you're gonna see people that don't have any friends, and you're gonna see people that have obviously so many friends and obviously have like a structure here, and like not like a structure, but like a support system, a friend system here, boyfriends, whatever. So like just as a general rule, it's very different when it comes to meeting people, and it's not necessarily in a bad way. It's very random and it's kind of nice. I would also even say that like the way that people date is very different. Even in college, casual relationships, hookup culture, whatever you want to call it, was like already such a big thing. But I'm telling you, when you're grown up and like, I don't know, it could just be where I live, but it seems like it's almost a bigger thing here. I don't know, I just feel like in college, serious relationships were a lot more common and a lot more official and a lot more like real. But when you become in this age, there is something called casual dating. And I thought that I knew all about casual dating before I moved up here because I thought I was doing it in college. No, casual dating in the real world sucks, but it's also a lot of fun, but it also sucks. So based on my experiences and talking with my friends, I have come up with different type of scenarios that encompass what casual dating really is. And the fact that there is already so many is partially the problem with casual dating. Number 1, casual dating is when you are dating multiple people at the same time. And I don't mean like serious relationships. I just feel like when you're in high school, when you're in college, like dating, you know what I mean? Dating insinuates that you're in a serious relationship. But no, like in the real world, dating just means that you're just dating. You can fully be dating somebody and not have a relationship with them. And that's like a very like newer way of thinking of the term. It's just like adjusting to the new mindset. Another version of casual dating is when you have a consistent friends with benefits, but you're also still dating other people. It's kind of crazy. Another one, which seems to be, I feel like, the most common. You are in what seems like a serious relationship, but with no title and no promise of a commitment. Just as a general thing with casual dating, there's no title, there's no promise of a commitment, regardless of how serious you guys act together. I've noticed like there's no in between. People either want something super serious or they don't at all. But there's also like a lot of newer challenges with dating, I would say. You know, like going back to like everyone being busy and everyone working, like finding that balance between work life is very hard, and it's been something that I've been trying to do, but it's gonna take time and I'm figuring it out. It can be hard to balance a relationship because of it. And it's a good thing that, you know, everybody's working, but it can just be hard to like find time to see each other. There's also like a pressure to like settle down or whatever, like find your person or like whatever you want to phrase it as. I've noticed, you know, like I said, it's like either one or the other. People either want it or they don't. And it's good that people know what they want, but at the same time, like it just feels like you can kind of tell when you go on a date with somebody if they really want something serious, because it feels like it's almost being rushed. Like you can almost feel the pressure beating down on them that like they're on a clock or something. Especially with women, I've noticed women stress about this way more, you know, because like the biological clock, men don't really have to worry about that. I mean, men date younger women all the time, so it's like whatever. But like as women, you know, if we want kids, we have to be figuring it out soon. I mean, I'm 22, almost 23, which is crazy. You know, I think like the prime biological age to have kids is probably like late 20s. And I'm not really a person that wants kids, so like whatever, but a lot of women do. And when you add marriage into the mix, it's like, okay, you want to be married before you have kids. That's like the majority, I think. And then it's like, okay, well now I have to find somebody to marry before my biological clock starts to go downhill. Even guys are stressing about, like I can tell when I go on a date with somebody, like if they want something serious, and I can feel the pressure on them. It's pressure on me. I'll get into that totally like later. But when it comes to online dating, it is a little bit different as well. I've noticed, and it could just be because of where I live. You know, I'm right outside New York City. There's a lot of successful people around me. Everyone around me is pretty much like smart and has their life together in an above average way. But I've also noticed with online dating, like people are much more interested in taking it outside of the app when you match with somebody on Hinge or Tinder or like whatever. I don't really use Tinder, but whatever you use. Like I've noticed that people are like, okay, let's set up a date for this day and this time. Like, where do you want to go? Like, what kind of foods you like? Like, I will set it up, whatever. People are just much more like urgently looking to take it out of the app. And that could have something to do with like the pressure to settle down or whatever. I don't really online date that much. I never really open my Hinge normally unless I'm either sad or bored. And here's the thing. I wish I could get on here and tell you guys that men post-grad are more emotionally mature and more self-aware and better, but I can't lie to you guys, and I won't lie to you guys. Men suck regardless. It does not get better. Dating after college does not get better. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. Hoboken is a very young city. I feel like majority of the people here, or a good majority of the people here, are in their 20s. It kind of feels like a college town in the sense where like, you know, every like college game day, like all the bars are packed. Sundays, you know, all the bars are packed because of NFL football and everything. Like there are some things about Hoboken that are very reminiscent of a college town, and I love that so much because it feels like a good transition from like college to adult life, because it kind of feels like that in between. So it's kind of like a college town without any like structured social life, if that makes sense. And one thing I've noticed about that, like having no structured social life, is if you are not putting in a significant effort to meet people and put yourself out there, you're not going to make any friends. Obviously, there's many ways to meet people, like networking events, happy hours, going out. There's so many happy hours here, like every single day of the week. And I've been trying to go to them just for like a little bit, just to like see what they're like. But normally, as a general rule, like the men that you meet going out, I'm not talking about like a happy hour. I'm talking about like going out, like at the club kind of thing, are normally men that that don't last anyways, I've noticed. You can also just like join like interest-based groups like sports clubs, book clubs, whatever. I've noticed Hoboken is pretty big on sports clubs and like league sports or sports leagues, whatever you want to call them. But I unfortunately don't play any sports, and I know that that's not a prerequisite, but I just really don't want to go out there and embarrass myself. So that's not really for me. So for what you've all been waiting for, let's get into some of my key dating experiences so far since I've been here, because they're so fun, guys. Laugh at my pain, okay? Here we go. So, bachelor number 1, we'll call him George. Bachelor number 1, I actually met on Hinge. And like I said, I don't really online date. I don't like online dating, but I don't know, took a chance. I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's go on a date, you know? So we went on a date and it was super fun. Like, I enjoy being around him a lot. He's a great guy. He's like a good on paper guy. Full of green flags, no red flags, super honest, super genuine, just like puts it all on the line. The thing is, George, George definitely wants something serious. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not what I'm looking for. That is just something that I cannot give him. You know, he's like really big on honesty and just like explaining how you feel and putting it all out there. And like, I love that. But I told him that, and he kind of insinuated that he would wait for me. And that just kind of freaked me out. Like, we've been on 2 dates. Like, he could literally be waiting years. So I decided to let him go by ghosting him, which is normally frowned upon, but it was the right thing to do. Bachelor number 2, I went on 1 date with, and it's gonna stay that way. Let's call him Sam. So Sam, I went on a date with. We went to dinner. It was fun. It was cool. Honestly, like, immediate red flag, because he had like a larger amount of Instagram followers. And like, I'm not saying that like people with a lot of followers suck. A girl with a lot of Instagram followers, I feel like, is a lot different than a guy with a lot of Instagram followers. Sam is the typical finance bro, lives in Chelsea, just like that typical guy. And the entire date, all he could talk about was how much money he made and like how much his apartment was and like this and this and this. And like, I was just like, keep talking about how much money you have, because I'm just going to order more cocktails then. If you're so not stressed about it, you know what I mean? If you're a man watching this, never do that. You're only going to attract the wrong women. No actual like good quality woman is going to be like, oh my God, like, but he has like this $7,000 apartment. I actually don't care. I think financial security is important. I think it's important to know how to manage money and all that, but it's not everything. I think a man that has a lot of goals is way more important than a guy with a lot of money. If you can find both, that's great. But a guy that's just braggy about it, off the bench. Here is a dating tip. Girls, this is for you. As tempting as it may be, never choose the guy that is obsessed with money. Choose the guy that is obsessed with goals. When you are driven, when you are passionate about something and you follow those passions and the drive is there, the money will come eventually. Bachelor number 3 is, the wounds are a little fresh, to be so honest with you. It is Wednesday and I broke things off with him on Monday. Let's call bachelor number 3 Michael. So I met bachelor number 3 almost 2 years ago, actually, on my 21st birthday. And, you know, I was in college. I didn't live here. He lives here. But it was just like a fun, like, flirty thing. I was like, okay, cool. Like, now I have somebody, like a cute boy to hang out with when I come and visit my mom, you know? He's a little older, maybe a little too old, but I don't know. I don't think age really matters that much. I think it's just like whatever. Like, max I would go is probably like 30. But he was a little older, late 20s, very late 20s. It was just a casual thing. Like, when I would come to New Jersey, I would text him, we would hang out, whatever. Like, about 2 weeks ago is when it became not fun anymore for me. He is the typical, like, nonchalant guy. And I don't recommend nonchalant guys to anybody after this, because I'm pretty nonchalant, or I thought I was, but not to that standard. Nonchalant men are horrible. I'll say that. He was just the epitome of mixed signals, and I just don't like mixed signals. I recently had to walk away from it because it wasn't good for me anymore. He didn't make me feel good about myself, and got to a point where I couldn't really recognize myself. It just wasn't beneficial for me, and like I had to walk away from it, and like it was hard to walk away from it because of like what I thought it could have been eventually, but I know it's like better in the long run, and like life goes on. But like when I broke it off, I told him, I was like, you don't make me feel good about myself anymore. Like, I don't feel good. And he said, I'm sorry you feel that way. Like, no, I'm sorry you made me feel that way. Don't get it twisted. Major, 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 major dating tip. When it comes to dating older men, I like to date older, normally not that much older, but just happened that way. I didn't know how old he was when I met him. Don't assume that because they're older that they're going to be like more mature and know what they want and just like better, because here's the catch. There is a reason why they are still single and doing casual relationships at their age. Mic drop. I want to talk about Michael more eventually, but the wounds are a little fresh right now, so we'll hold that off for a later episode where it becomes relevant again. But the thing is with dating, in college, after college, in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, you learn so much about yourself and your needs and your values in relationships. Even through the dating that I have done, I have learned so much about myself and what I want. And here's what it is. I don't want a serious relationship, but I don't want something like ultra casual either. Somewhere in between. Something fun where I actually feel valued. I just want to feel valued and cared for. Like a really good friend. I'm just not ready for a relationship, regardless of what some people may think. But you know, like you also learn like when to walk away from something. And it's not just about when to walk away, it's about getting the courage to actually walk away from something. Because when you're involved with somebody, casual or not, there's always going to be like a part of yourself that's like, oh, like maybe it could be more eventually. You know what I mean? And when I say eventually, I don't mean next week. I mean like, I don't know, 3 years down the line. But it can like be a little bit hard to let go of what like the hope or the possibility of what it could have been. Sometimes we find ourselves in a situation where it hurts to be with somebody, but it also would hurt more to walk away. So we end up staying in these situationships, relationships, friendships, whatever you want to call them. But the thing is, yeah, it's going to hurt more to walk away, but you're going to feel better. I already am starting to feel better, guys, already. And I'm on day 2. Yes. But dating in your 20s also has a lot to do with balance. Every single day I'm learning more about balance. Learning to find the balance between work, social life, relationships, whatever is so hard, but I think I'm getting better at it. Trying to find like the happy medium between all of it. Like if you don't know what you want out of a relationship, that's okay. That I think is the perfect reason why you should be casually dating. It just gives you a good idea of what's out there. And I don't know, I feel like casual dating for men is a lot different because it's like, okay, how many dinner dates can I afford to take out multiple women? But like casual dating for women is so much fun because you're just going to free dinner and drinks. It's like a job interview with cocktails. You know what I mean? It's actually fun. Even the bad ones are like still kind of entertaining. You know, you can get a kick out of all of them. And when it comes to ending a relationship that's not serving you, I think the way that you do it depends entirely on how the relationship was. I think ghosting sometimes is okay. I think over text is sometimes okay. And I think sometimes in person is exactly how it needs to be done. I think it's very specific to how the relationship dynamic was. Like for me and Michael, I ended it over text because I had no interest in seeing him. I knew it wouldn't be good for me, and I knew if I probably saw him, I wouldn't be able to do it. So I did it over text. And with George, I just ghosted him. And like while ghosting is like, yeah, like, you know, it's ghosting, whatever. But sometimes it's just better to do it that way. I don't want to have that conversation. It's only been 2 dates. It's not that serious. So like get over it and move on. And then, you know, when you end something with somebody, like learning how to recenter your focus back on yourself 100% it's hard, but it's not hard. It's just about like getting back into those original habits you have of like putting yourself first and like you are the only one that matters. Because when you're involved with somebody, there is a focus on them. It should never be bigger than the focus on yourself, but can still be a significant focus. And it's all about just redirecting the focus. You know, put it into work, put it into self-care, put it into friendships, like put it into other men, whatever you want to do. Like, guys, but yeah, I mean, dating post-grad is very different. There is obviously like a really big shift between dating in college and in high school, where there's like structured social events, to now where there is no structured social events and everyone's basically running around with their heads cut off. You know what I mean? It's different when it comes to where you meet people and balancing dating and responsibilities. For anybody struggling with dating post-grad, one, welcome to the club, and two, just have fun with it. Like, I feel like people put so much pressure on things, and like, just literally have fun with it. I love you guys, all of you. Like, take it at your own pace. If you don't want to be casually dating and dating like 3 or 4 men a week, that's fine. And sometimes I have slow weeks. This week is a slow week. I haven't been on a date this week. I don't think I will. But like, next week is different. I have a couple set up for next week already. Like, you don't have to be casual dating, but just do it at your own pace. Do what makes you happy. Do what makes you feel good. If anybody that is a little bit beyond post-grad has any advice for us girls, please drop them in the comments below. Or if you have a horrible date story, let me know. A lot of times after college, there's a lot of comparison, like comparing what you're doing to other people and all of that. And it can be kind of hard to navigate. So that is what the next episode is going to be on. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. And this was Diaries of a 20-something, episode 15. And I will see you guys next Friday.